anything as Grandpa. My dad would have taken care of that.
Oh, I would have too. I would have loved to have a copy of that thing.
That was about 7, 8, 10 pages.
I don't think his mother saved anything, did she?
Well, Dad had it. It was still in good condition when he had it. We
But
read
it
the
burnt
thing.
up in the fire.
We read it. Yeah, it burnt
Well, it
up.
was in German though, wasn't it?
No,
Oh, it was in English?
the English, because the reason it was in English, when Letitia passed away, him and John were offered
Oh, that was,
When did
his
she die?
sister.
it was in the 30s, early 30s.
She died? Well, she didn't die. She died very young then, didn't she?
I guess. I can remember.
I mean, she could, if she died in the 30s, she was only then like 40, 45 when she died.
Now,
And she died in Switzerland, right?
but this one girl that came here, they were very quiet about it. And I told Dad, I said, this is the best way it could be, you know? Because in the will, Dad was offered, Dad, so 36,000, something like
I
that.
thought it was in the 60s.
Maybe it was 60,000 or
Then you bought
$65,000. And John was 65,000. And the two sons that she had over there, more or less, the only reason we found out about it was when they read the will, then our consulate over there, as an American citizen, took the right to investigate it. You know, and then they sent the will copy to us. Well, then, back and forth, and letters, you know. I can remember that. I can remember, and Dad telling me later on, you know, he gave me the will. I read the thing. I think you did too. Maybe not. It was in the 30s. But anyway, he had it all the way through the 30s, through World War II, and it burnt up in his trailer down on
Yeah.
in Jennings.
Yeah.
It was in Jennings. But
Better place?
better, I think
Better? No, it's better, right?
No.
B-E-T-E-R.
V, better, I think
Yeah,
you're right.
okay.
But anyway,
Now,
after,
you just had two brothers and a sister. You had another brother in Aunt Leona, right?
We
Right,
would
that
have
was
had
it.
two, yeah.
Yeah.
but the two of them, and back and forth, the arguments and the stuff going back and forth, and the letters going back and forth.
I still do.
Dad just decided, he said, well, if you need the money that bad, keep it. And I think the total amount went to Dad's sister. That wasn't Dad's sister who died, it was the aunt that she went over there to take care of.
Oh, okay.
Not his sister. She went back over to take care of her.
Yeah.
And anyway, you okay now? You've been sitting a long time. Your legs will be stiff.
Okay.
You would leave.
Okay.
And I think she ended up with $5 million. The sister did.
And you don't know when she died?
He probably lost it all, too.
Because when Dad and them, what the hell, you know, he was working steady, no money, no heavy money.
Yeah, but
was,
you don't know when she died.
no. But it was in his will, I'm sure.
Well, no, I mean his sister. You don't know when he died, when she died.
No.
Okay.
But anyway,
But the aunt that she wants to look at died in the 30s, right?
yeah. That was
And then Letitia got around $5 million.
something like that. Yeah. And Dad then was supposed to get 60 some out a piece.
And they wanted it all, though, huh?
Well, I guess. They thought Dad and John were pretty well off, you know, working and all that.
Yeah.
But I know they sent one picture back It looked like this house was built, you know, this is a massive cliff here, straight down, you couldn't see the bottom of it. But then the house was built, you know, like this would be the cliff, the house was built right here. And it was all of stone, you know, looked like something like a castle. But there was one woman, a good friend of mine, that went to Switzerland, and it had some ties to do with Dad's sister. And she went over there and said you wouldn't believe the way they were living. Come down the stairs, big velvet gowns. That's the.
What political party did your dad belong to? Did he
Well,
belong to one? Did he lean toward one or another?
he leaned to the whole family leaned to the Republican Party. But as Roosevelt came in and started with his, they all turned Democratic. Not my mother.
Your mother always said a Republican?
Well, she leaned awful heavily Republican.
Okay. Did you have a favorite cousin? Any of your cousins you were?
Well,
Any of
Mildred and Catherine, I guess. Because that's the one we were affiliated with most.
Okay. Now where you're on the last page.
Rose and
Mary Ellen?
Mary Ellen, they were around, but not that often, you know. But Mildred and Catherine were there all the time.
Did they live on the same block?
No. I think Mary Ellen and
So you said your dad had a lot of friends and had a lot of people around all the time?
well, railroad people, yeah.
What's your sister named after?
Leona? I don't know. She and Art Murhoff never got too much out of life, you know. Died so early, you know.
Well, your brother didn't have much of a life either,
No.
did he?
He died real young.
When was he? 6 years old?
6, 7 years old.
And he got the Spanish flu?
That's when he died from the flu.
How did he get it and not the rest of the family?
I don't know.
I mean, your mother had to be pregnant with you when he got it.
That's right. I was born right after he died.
Yeah. You don't have any more stories about your dad or anything else that you remember, anything else that you think stands out, or
Well,
anything you did?
like I said, he made a
Besides
lot.
playing that crazy violin of his all the time, and
They say that violin was worth some money. And he never got a chance to really have it really inspected. But some of the people they took it to used mirrors underneath there to see what that imprint was on the inside. Now, it wasn't a Stradivarius, but it was some type of a pretty good instrument, you know? And that,
what was the saddest thing ever happened in your life? When your mom died?
I think when Bradley passed away.
Why, did you think that was like your brother?
No,
Or you just didn't have a...
I guess because we were so heavily attached to the boy, you know?
Were there any other important lessons you learned from your mom and dad besides just work hard and?
That would be it. That would be it. I wouldn't know, you know, nobody did anything in them days like what we did today. I'll tell you one thing we did do. My dad got us a compartment on a railroad, in a Pullman. And we left St. Louis, my mom, myself, and Leona. We went to Washington, D.C. That didn't cost us anything now. You know. We went to Washington, D.C., stayed in Washington, D.C. 3 to 4 days, which was fantastic. Then we went from Washington, D.C. to Florida, Miami, Florida, to an old friend of my mother who married a carpenter. And they moved to Florida with all that big boom down there, you know, in the 20s. And they were still down there, and this was in the 30s. We took this trip. I was in high school. I'd have been a senior that year. Come back, and my dad drove me over to the football field for practice.
Wow. That's something that.
That was really a trip.
Yeah.
That was really a trip. And they took us naturally all around Florida. Leona and I were pretty young. And I can play Indian ball there, you know. And they'd make me bat left-handed because I hit the ball harder right in.
Okay, well, I think that's it. That's all I got. I think it's time for us to head home. I got 2 sleepy heads on me.
Yeah, well,
You know,
So,
somebody's watch, did you take a shot?
yeah, can't be thrown. Well, thanks.